Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before is now talk like you've never seen it before. Alex Bennett's Ramble is now in video. Log on to Alex's Facebook page at facebook.com/abennett every Tuesday through Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern and experience the Citizen Panel like never before. We put a face to people like Phil, Patrick, Renee, Kevin, Tony, Jeff, Bree, Brian, and all of our regulars. And Alex is there too in his PJs. Just be glad he isn't naked. You can be one of those people who gets seen and not just heard by calling into Skype. For more information on how to Skype us, just go to gabnet.net. You can dress any way you want, provided it's decent. GabNet is now not just talk and not just a pretty face. So why don't you add yours? We're GabNet, and we've got you covered live 5 nights a week. First Tuesday through Friday at 9:30 Eastern, it's The Exchange.
Harlan Ellison totally insisted that there were no sounds in space on Babylon 5. Watching it for 20 minutes will clearly show that there are sounds in space. So what the fuck are you pulling this out of, Mr. Harlan Ellison? That pretty much cemented the idea of who Harlan was in my brain.
Tuesday through Friday at 10 Eastern. Join Alex Bennett on The Ramble.
You don't think Bill Clinton's a pervert?
No, I don't.
Go ahead.
No, I really don't. I think I think he's a man who let his dick talk for him. You know, I think he's a guy who was pursued by a young woman and should have said no, but he didn't. Now, the only woman I ever talked to that fucked Bill Clinton was Jennifer Flowers. She kept saying during the interview, you know, I really did have sex with Bill Clinton. And I asked her the question, I said, that's not what's important to me. What's important to me was he a gentleman? And she said, he was terrific. She said, every time we'd have sex, the next day he would call and see if I was okay. He never dodged my calls if I wanted to call him. He was an absolute gentleman.
Tuesday through Friday at midnight, The Intersection.
We now know that Trump doesn't hate all Democrats. He at least likes the Democrats who he perceives to be as crooked as he is.
Ah, wait a minute, ring that bell!
I mean, between Menendez and Blagojevich, you know, who we pardon.
Mm-hmm. If you like sports, we've got that too, with The Arena, Wednesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
There's a lot of long-ass games come knockout round because they have to finish. So you have to play up to 120 minutes plus a penalty shootout. Kick.
Catch up on all the shows with our weekend flashback. All shows have the Citizen Panel, an exclusive concept of GabNet. It's new, it's daring, it's talk like you've never heard it before. Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network.
Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the Ramble. I'm Alex Bennett, and we go from now until, we hope we keep going from now until midnight Eastern Time. Listen, last night let me, before I go into our interview for tonight, let me explain what went on last night. It seems as though Skype forced me to go to their new Skype. And we went on the air and we figured we had at least part of it figured out, how to get the picture out there. Well, that didn't even work right. But the idea was to try and figure out how in this new thing you could create a citizen panel. And once I figured out how to create a citizen panel, all I could get was one picture on the screen it was a clusterfuck. And it's because Skype, these motherfucking cocksuckers, and I call them that, and I'm saying that to be nice, all right, decided that they were going to force everybody to go to this new system, which is vastly inferior to the old one. I don't know how. Well, it's Microsoft. What more can I say? Okay? It's Microsoft. Anyway, today I did a little research and a few things and so on. And I think we solved the problem. I think I was able to roll back to the old system. But I know I've rolled back to the old system. Let's just hope it works like the old system did. Okay? I'll explain that just a little bit later. But yesterday, we did an interview with my ex-wife, Ronnie. And I had to do it at the last moment because I just found out that I couldn't use the old Skype in order to do it. And so I called her and we did the interview. And it looked fine. I'm at a different angle than this. Okay, I'm sitting over at this other computer. And she's out of sync throughout most of the thing. And that's the problem with me using the Mac. Somehow Skype doesn't work as well on the Mac as it works on a Windows machine, because who makes Windows? Microsoft. Who owns Skype? Microsoft. Anyway, so let's go to that interview with Ronnie, and then I'll see you on the other side of that, and we'll see if this whole thing works tonight, and we can just do a regular old citizen panel without any problems. Ladies and gentlemen, wearing that lovely fedora.
Like my hat.
Yes. This one's got more feathers on it than the last one.
Yeah.
Okay. And how many of those hats? I mean, you had these hats before you had the chemotherapy,
yes.
Right?
Yes.
So how many hats did you have?
40 or 50 hats.
Really?
Yes.
So we can look forward to, at least for the next year, not having you in the same hat every year. Every week.
If I remember what I wore the week or two before, that's a problem, of course.
Yeah, of course. Anyway, how you doing?
I'm doing fine. It's not rainy. It's just a gray day here.
Yeah. And we're talking to her in Lake Oswego, Oregon. And she is an old lady, and getting older, thank goodness. And she has...
In my condition, getting older is a very good thing.
Yeah. We've mentioned this before, and we've talked about this before, and that is that you have a terminal bout of cancer. I don't know if we call it a terminal...
I call it my predicament.
Your predicament. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Predicament, yes.
You know, and you seem to be, can I say this, and maybe you correct me on it, you seem to be looking at this as an adventure.
Well, to a degree. I'm not so sure adventure, since I'm not very adventurous, but I've written about the fact that I'm just, what happens to a person when they're told they're going to die in a relatively short period of time? I don't know how long that period is.
Yeah.
Everybody gives me, of the professionals, they give me a different time period. Apparently less than a year, but more than a few months. So, there you go. Yeah. Whatever it will be. But I spend a lot of time, because I'm curious how your life changes when you're told this, that you are going to die in a relatively short period of time, and there's nothing anybody can do about it, so that I kind of put my consciousness, or part of my consciousness, over here sometimes and just watch what I'm doing and how it may or may not have changed what I do day to day. And in that sense, it's an adventure. I mean, it's only one person. I think we all go through this as the people who do, each in our own way. And there's no right way, there's no wrong way. In my case, I'm kind of studying me, let's put it that way.
Oh, boy. By the way, I want to tell people that we're a little out of sync here because we're having to use a different system today, and she's a little bit out of sync, and it has to do with the way I've got this thing set up, and I Haven't got it set up perfectly yet, so I'm sorry for that. Yeah. Well, I you know something? I hate to gripe about this, but fuck Skype.
Are you going to do it again?
Fuck Skype. God, I hate them. No, I may stop this whole thing because I don't have the equipment to be able to do it with, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, where were we? So
my adventure that's kind of I'm studying myself.
Well, you're kind of turning it into an adventure, into a journey. And I think that's probably the best way to handle it,
I don't know. I'm writing something that I'll post on Friday about, people talk about fighting cancer all the time.
Yeah.
And as soon as you're diagnosed, you'll start hearing that phrase, I'm going to beat this, I'm fighting this. I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
It's you can't punch it in the nose and all of that stuff. Is it a vigilance that's maybe supposed to keep the cancer from growing or something? I just don't know what it means to fight, and I would rather live than fight. Fighting is exhausting,
Yeah.
I don't want to spend my time working that hard. I want to spend it talking with you and a bunch of other friends and, doing what I do that I like to do. And fighting cancer, the fighting, if you could call it that, the fighting is to keep my weight up so I don't become frail.
Mm-hmm.
And that's difficult, when I was young, I used to mock the tall, skinny women who complained about having to eat so much to keep their weight up. Yeah, try to lose weight, honey. Now I see their problem, And I want to spend this time doing things I like to do.
Right.
So, and fighting cancer just sounds way too tiring for me.
Yeah. So your day-to-day is, you have to do the chemo every couple of weeks,
2
right?
weeks.
Every 2 weeks. And that knocks you out for, what, a couple of days?
Well, it's unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
This time, I also, besides having a day-long chemo, I wear a body pump for 2 more days that puts more chemo in me when I come home that day.
Oh, that's homework.
Yes, my homework, exactly. And then it's, I was kind of tired the day after they unhooked me this time.
Yeah.
And I'm tired today. It was last Thursday that I had it.
Yeah.
And I'm tired today, which is Tuesday that we're talking. But what happened? This is only the 3rd time I've had it. The first time I had it, after 2 days of feeling good afterwards, I was just as tired. Fatigue was the right word. I'd never felt so tired almost.
Right.
Then last time that didn't happen to me. And now I'm waiting to see if it's going to happen this time. Today I feel a little spacey in the head, which is what usually referred to as chemo brain.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see how I feel tomorrow. But it's been very unpredictable. Mostly I've been incredibly lucky. There's something about this long of the number of side effects that there can be. Nobody has all of them, but I've had mostly is fatigue is the one that I've had, and nothing else that's awful. So I'm terribly lucky so far.
Wow. Well, that's good. That's good. So are you pretty well keeping up the blog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I publish every day that I want to.
Yeah. And how hard is that to do with the chemo brain?
Hard during chemo brain.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is what we're recording today is what I will post tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Because I couldn't do too much yesterday. I was really tired.
Right.
And today too. So I'll post this tomorrow, and that's an easy way out. I can just do a couple of sentences, intro.
Right.
And people can watch or not, depending on how they feel. And then I'm in the middle of writing a real one for Friday. I don't publish on Thursday. And, of course, collecting all the cool stuff for interesting stuff on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So you're keeping yourself busy.
Oh, God, yes. I'm so far behind I'm not fooling around when I say I'll die before I finish everything.
Well, maybe we all will. You know, I mean,
that's very good point. I like that.
You know, I mean, the thing I'll tell you, well, how can I put it? I've been somewhat depressed lately. Oh well, what's new, Alex?
Yeah, that's right.
I've been somewhat. What's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, depressed. Because I'm just the general health thing all the way around gets to me. You know, I can only imagine. I can only imagine with you. Okay.
No, I want to talk about that. I'd always said that long before I got cancer, I never wanted to be a professional patient.
Mm-hmm.
Well, guess what? Last week, I was at the medical center 4 days out of 7. 4 days out of 7.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, that's not how I want to spend my time any more than I want to spend it fighting cancer.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things, even if you don't have something that's going to kill you like I do, the cancer, when we get old, they medicalized old age.
Right.
That we spend all our time doing health things for ourselves, or doctors telling us what to do for ourselves. And I wonder how much of that is necessary, that we come to be defined by our health. And it's perfectly normal that the older you get, a body's going to run down in different ways, even before you get anywhere near a serious disease that might kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Just things run down. But shouldn't we be thinking about or concentrating on ways to manage that as people get older, as opposed to making it a disease with a name? They keep giving all this stuff names and thinking up new drugs for them. That it's perfectly normal that we're going to walk slower, that we might have balance problems, that our joints might hurt. I mean, the things that happen to a lot of people that won't kill you, they turn them into medical problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's necessarily. I don't like being identified only by my health. I've been here for 77 years. There's a lot more to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Than what my health is currently.
Yeah, but the thing I guess that's depressing me is, you know, I mean, I went to the doctor, and there's this whole thing with the prostate, and it's not. They told me I'll live to be 95 with it. It's not something that's going to kill me, but all of a sudden I'm getting to see the fragility of myself. You know.
Talk about that.
And also the fact that, how do I put this? That the doctor says to me, "Hey, something else will kill you first," and I'm going, "Oh, that's wonderful." You know, I can only hope that it's something else that kills me first. I mean, what are we making a bet here? I mean, are there odds on this deal? You know, I just don't. I don't get it.
That's a whistling past the graveyard type of phrase.
Yeah.
It's but I was really interested in what you said about feeling not frailty. What was the word you used?
Well, I what's the word? What was the word I used? I forget now.
Well, that's one of the problems of old age.
Yeah.
But feeling not as sure of your health,
right,
as when you're younger.
Well, I mean, for instance, in the old days, I'd get a cold. I got a cold. That was it. Now the cold lingers. You know.
I don't get them very often, but the rare occasions I've had a cold in my old age, it's like getting the flu when I was 25.
Yeah. Yeah. This was just a cold that I had recently. And then they give you medicine for various things, and the medicine knocks you out. I mean, I'm taking a thing called, I have bad reaction to drugs, okay? If you give me a drug they give me the lowest dose, it will affect me, okay? And they gave me this drug, gabapentin, to kill my numbing of the feet, or somewhat help with the numbing of the feet. And they said, you should take about 300 milligrams a day. Well, I'm only taking 100, and I wake up and I'm groggy. and I'm groggy all day. I'm loopy all day. I'm loopy today.
Do you still not drink coffee?
What do you mean still not drink coffee? Look at that. You know. And the coffee doesn't help. But, I mean, and last night I didn't even take the gabapentin and I still have the loopiness. You know? So, I mean, all of a sudden they start giving you these drugs when you're older, figuring, what you're not going to need it. You know? You're not going to need all your stuff, right? You don't go to work every day. You don't need...
your faculties.
Your faculties. Yeah. And also...
Do you have to take that drug?
If I don't want my feet to be as numb or hurt as much, but I'm maybe going to stop taking it because I don't like the way it's making me feel. I'm groggy right now from it, and I didn't take it last night.
Cannabis is legal, and I use it to put me to sleep and keep me asleep at night.
Yeah.
And the new one that I'm using, new edible, when I wake up in the morning, I am groggy, but a cup of coffee puts me right. You know, one drug, then the next. Keep it up, keep it up. Right.
Yeah. If I'm a little loopy too.
As long as we're doing all of this, we should also talk about, as long as we're talking about our health, we should also talk about all of the jokes late night comedians do about old people just talk about everything that's wrong with them. And that there's nothing wrong with that. They might think that it's funny and awful. They'll get there one day. Don't worry about them. But it's terribly important because among ourselves, it's terribly important because the society at large, like those comedians, doesn't let us do that. And we're not supposed to, you know, but the culture just wants us to go away. They don't want to employ us. They don't want, they think we're all demented, and they also want to impoverish us all by taking away Social Security and Medicare. And so I think it's terribly important that we talk among ourselves about these things. So many things that are wrong with us at any age in our lives aren't things like I've got cancer that's going to do something terrible to you. They're things like a cold that are driving you nuts and your nose is running all day long, you know, or smaller, or like your feet. If you take this drug, your feet won't hurt, and so on. It's terribly important to exchange notes about those things or just talk with each other about it because first of all, the culture's done it to it. It's made our health so much a part of our lives, so we're kind of stuck with it, and the doctors keep pushing pills. Some are terribly important, but I'm not so sure all of them are. But we should be able to do that, and we should just ignore the younger people who make fun of us for doing it.
Well, I want people to realize something, that the reason I finally found this out about a year ago. I finally decided it. The reason old people are grouchy is we're in pain a lot. There's
You grouchy?
Huh?
I'm not grouchy.
Oh, I'm grouchy.
I mean, I have crabby old lady, but she's just my alter ego. It's not because I hurt anywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, I just find that as I've gotten older, I get grouchier, just simply because I hurt. You know, I have a little pains. My feet ache, and
I'm incredibly lucky that I don't hurt anywhere.
Yeah. But, you know, here's the thing that bothered me. I was going to do a thing about it, a post about it. And that is, I am sick and tired on my Facebook page that whenever I say something like, I didn't like that movie, they write back, you know what's coming, don't you? Well, that's just because you're old.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't like that movie because you're acting like an old fart. I mean, they will say that stuff, huh? No,
See,
but what I'm saying is they're dismissing my opinion.
Yes.
Because of my age.
That's right.
And do they have a right to do that?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but that's because I happen to be 79 years old and I'm upset by it. But yet that's why I don't post things on my Facebook page anymore, or opinions, because I just don't want that. Oh, well, you're being dismissed because I'm an old fart, you know?
You know, I agree with you, but it's not going to change anytime quickly. You know?
Yeah.
The whole culture is built. I've mentioned this to other people. Is if you watch any of the late night interview shows like Seth Meyers and Stephen Colbert and the rest of them, at least 4 nights out of 7, every one of them in their first, one-liner monologues on the news when they first start, every one of them will include an anti-aging joke. Every single one of them. 4 days out of 5.
Well, here's my question. If those were racist jokes 4 nights out of 5, they wouldn't be working.
That's right.
Well, what's so different about ageism?
Nothing.
Except
the culture allows us to pick on old people because nobody likes old people. They're all afraid they'll grow old one day.
Yeah, exactly. What was it? A girlfriend and I were going to start a site called Nobody Wants to Listen to Old People. It's true. I mean, they dismiss age, and I'm sorry, we have something to say, but I'm getting to feel irrelevant. I feel like I'm slowly disappearing.
That's what happens to us.
Yeah. And I think I am, actually.
You mean physically you actually are? Fading away into the background.
I honestly believe I'll be dead for like 5 weeks and somebody will say, has anybody heard from Alex lately? Like we never noticed him before, but, suddenly he hasn't been here for a while and maybe he's sick or something. What? Yeah. And
really, really annoying old people, they really get a lot of a brunt of the jokes, but young people don't. They're really annoying young people too.
Give me an example when you talk about somebody like a Colbert or whoever doing a joke. Can you remember one specifically?
Not right now.
Yeah, but it's just they say something and you go, that's ageist.
Yes.
It's
always something about something wrong with an old person.
Well, Bill Maher, who considers himself Mr. Liberal, right? Ageist jokes up the ass on that show.
I'm telling you, on all of them.
Yeah, but that one in particular,
Watch the others. That does no different on any of the rest.
I think I told you this story before, but years ago I was working at KQED doing a show over there, Comedy Tonight, and I was over there one day having to do voiceovers for the show, and the receptionist said, by the way, when you're through, the guy wants you over at the Over Easy offices. The guy who's the head of the show wants to talk to you. And I went, what does he want to talk to me about? Over Easy was a show that Hugh Downs hosted. And by the way, I looked it up. Hugh Downs is now 98 years old.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
Yeah.
Anyway, they did the show about old people. It's called Over Easy. And he sat me down and he said, I was listening to your show the other day. By the way, I listen to you every morning because I drive my kids to work and they like listening to your show and so on. And he said, you were pulling some jokes about old people. I said, yeah. He said, stop.
Good for him.
I said,
good for him.
Well, he said, it's hard enough getting older and keeping your self-esteem without having some guy on the radio making jokes about it. And I thought about it for a second and I said, you're absolutely right. And from that day on, I never did another old person joke or allowed it on the show by the comedians.
Old people jokes about old people are the last acceptable prejudice in America.
Yeah.
They used to say that was true about old people, but they're making far bigger strides than us old folks are in acceptance.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time when they might, it was, I would have agreed that those were the two things that you could still make jokes about. But they've had a much better campaign than old people have.
But I mean, people should remember this, that I'm getting to the point where I just I wake up every morning and I go, life isn't getting any better. There was a time in my life where it got better, and now it's only I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I should be happier about it. You know, maybe I should embrace
happiness, they say, is a choice.
Happiness is a choice, and it's one that I've never accepted. So,
I think that a lot of old people are unhappy about where they are in old age because they can't do things they could when they were younger.
Yeah.
Which are mostly physical things.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty to do. I mean, now because of the cancer, it wasn't, but a few months ago I could run up some stairs nearby here. I can't do that anymore. I can walk up the stairs slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay. I mean, I can still walk up the stairs.
Yeah.
It's okay. So, if time is the problem, I just give myself more time. It doesn't, and I can go on and do other things I like.
Right.
I don't see the point in lamenting what changes and what you can't do anymore. It's enjoying what you can do still, and that you're still here to do it.
Well, to any kids who might be listening, let this be a lesson to you. But they're probably not listening to us because we're two old people talking about getting old, and they don't give a shit. They don't think it's ever going to happen to them.
Well, we didn't either when we were there.
Well, yeah, I guess we were assholes as well. Anyway, hey, listen, we've run out of time. You've been out of sync most of the time, I think. But we'll see when the recording comes out. But that's because I'm having to use this whole new system, and well, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to get into the technical part about it. I'll do that later on the show tonight. Anyway, love talking to you, dear, and we'll talk to you in 2 weeks, okay?
2 weeks, okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will find her at timegoesby.net. That's her blog. It's terrific. Find out what it's like to get older, okay? Bye-bye, Ronnie.
Celebrating 4 years of talk like you've never heard it before. This is Gavin, the Great American Broadcast Network.
And that's Ronnie. I love our discussions together. And I know that it's not, how can we call it? It's not perfectly wonderful to a lot of you to hear about getting old and cancer and things like that. But fuck you. If I can't do that here, where can I do it? I mean, that's the great thing about the internet. Anyway, let me, okay, we're going to go for the big casino here. We're going to go for the big deal and see if I actually can take your calls and can put a panel together. I think it's going to be possible. I think it's going to be easy enough, but we'll have to see. The lines are open, so now I need people to call so I can test this to make sure it works. I'm sure it probably will. I'm probably shouldn't be worrying about it, but I am, So we're here now, and we're ready to go, and everything should work. Yeah. So now all I need are callers to test it out. If you don't know how to call, let's go over to gabnet.net. Over there you will find not only the program playing right now in video, but over on the right-hand side it'll show you all the things you need to know about getting this horrid thing called Skype and calling us and being a part of the citizen panel. Whatever Skype you download won't matter because it won't affect you, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, guess what? It's Ray Renati, and Ray is at the gym, and here comes Jeff Stein. There we go.
Wi-Fi.
It's all working, ladies, and let's hope. Let's see, is Jeff there? There we go. Okay, now wait a minute. I have to do this. All right, now we add Phil Meyer, and we add Charlie Wallace, and it's all working. I've just got to do a little bit of adjusting of the picture here, so that it's better than it should be. There we go. And I think...
Hey, Alex, that interview was really good.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it.
I really enjoyed it. I listened on TuneIn. It sounded great.
What happened to Charlie? Charlie didn't manage to connect. Well, here comes Scott Boddicker. Yeah, we're adding him to the group. Hello, Scott. Haven't seen you in a while. If you folks may
group already.
If you folks may notice, the picture is a little bit different tonight, and the reason it is, I notice, is this is an older version of Skype, but supposedly it's impervious to them forcing me not to use it. So we'll be happy to use it. Then
It's better. It's better again.
And everybody's name is right under the picture too. That's what's so nice, you know. And your picture is square tonight, Phil. I guess that's maybe because of your you're using your portable or whatever.
Yeah, I'm too hip to be square.
Yeah. And Ray is at the gym. All the pictures look terrific. I think we're okay, you know.
Phil's normal on my phone. He's the same size as everyone else.
Yeah.
On my phone.
Yeah.
Could be because you're on a phone and he's got a full
Yeah.
screen.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm happy at least. I mean, this isn't the way it was. This isn't the same makeup as it was before because all the names are underneath. But it works. So that's what matters. Wait a minute. Somebody, Charlie, turn down your audio. Turn down the show. Turn down the show.
I didn't know I was connected.
Huh? Yeah, you're on now. You didn't know you were coming on?
Okay.
You didn't know you were coming on. It automatically signed you on because you had signed on before. I maybe like this older Skype even better because now I have everybody's name under their picture. So you can know that Phil Meyer is the asshole who's talking about Trump, you know? Yes, Scott.
No, I'm just pointing. He's up there.
No. Well, no. He's over to the side of you on the screen on the air here. Let me also.
Well, you know, I can give you some payback. Try this.
Mm-hmm.
Has the cancer spread yet?
What?
Has your cancer spread yet?
Has my cancer spread yet? No. Why should it?
Well, you know, that's what happens.
Yeah.
If you're going to point me out as the asshole that supports Trump,
yeah,
I just figured I'd give you a little payback.
Yeah. Okay, well, fuck you. Anyway.
Can you feel it, you know, spreading? And
No, I'll stick my finger up my ass. By the way, I watched the Kaminsky. I'm watching it again.
Yeah, was I right about the joke?
No. Actually, how it goes is he says it may just be a benign hyperplasia, which is an enlarged prostate. He says, "Is that good?" And he says, "No, it's not necessarily good. What's good is I fucking my nurse."
I told you that.
No, but it's not like you said it. I got good news, I got bad news. The bad news is you got cancer. The good news is I'm fucking my nurse. That was not the joke.
It was close enough.
No, it wasn't close enough. It was more like I said it was.
No, you were in left field. Are you kidding me?
Huh?
What you said it was something entirely different. You know?
Well, in any event, that's what it was, okay?
Oh, so you were wrong.
No, I was right. I was right that you were wrong.
No, I'm right. You're left.
Yeah, well, that's for damn sure. Anyway, so anyway, at least you know, what happened today is there's this site, I won't say where, well, I will say, there's this site I went to that said, here's a solution to the problem. And they gave me a thing where I could download an old version of Skype that supposedly does not have any extensions or anything attached to it. And they said if you install it, I tried installing it yesterday and it didn't work, but I installed it this morning just for the hell of it to try it again. And all of a sudden, here it comes up. And it somehow... it doesn't show up on my screen. I have to pin it to my taskbar, but it's an old version of Skype. It's 7.3. What is it? 7.36.0.101.
Is this on the Mac or
no?
the PC?
This is on the PC. Yeah, it's on the
okay.
PC. This is on Windows. And it looks fine, and the picture's terrific, and we've got 5 people right now, and who knows how many other people will call, but I think they will all fit. and I think we've got it working here. And I'm very happy because my life is now worth living.
Alex?
Yes.
You might be limited to only 8 people. Remember that was an issue before?
Yeah.
No. Actually, the limit was I think 10 or something like that.
Well, no, on the earlier versions, Alex, what was happening was the 8th person didn't have video.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, anyway, we're who cares?
Okay.
Who cares? You know, I didn't have anything yesterday, okay? So at least I have something now, you know. And there are some hints that I can, now that I put this in, I can go up to other versions or something like that. But,
I thought that was just an excuse to get Doug off the line.
Huh? Yeah, that was the excuse to get Doug off the line, exactly. But how many people we have now? We have 6 people. Wow, you see? Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and me.
7, including yourself.
Including myself.
Did you figure it out?
It isn't a matter of figuring it out. It was a matter of I was able to roll back to the old Skype Classic using some kind of little thing that this one site, they had a version of it that is impervious to this, forcing this upgrade. So we'll see. We'll see. And if Skype is listening right now, they're going, well, we can work our way around that.
That's exactly right, though, Phil. Who says it's impervious? For right now, you know, 6 months from now, they're like another dick. They'll force up your ass, down your throat.
You know, I seem to remember that even your older versions were always asking to be upgraded.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but you turn off an automatic upgrade on it. And, and so this one still says, hey, there's a new Skype, but would you like to go get it? And you just go, no, you know, but it doesn't go, you have to. And if I go, I don't want to, it just doesn't let you go any further. That's what it was doing. I had to upgrade to the 8 or I didn't have anything.
Alex, I have the same one you have. I found that, and I never have to upgrade. It's awesome.
Oh, really? Oh, you know the one I'm talking about then?
Yep.
Yeah.
I installed it. Yeah.
How long ago did you install it?
Oh, God, months ago.
Really? Why didn't you tell me about it?
I did.
No, you didn't.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought I did.
No, you didn't. So last night we had this show that looked like absolute shit. Actually, I like the way this looks better even than the way the other one looked because I've got everybody's name under it. So, you know. We can people can go, oh, that's Scott Boddicker. Folks, use your real names on there. Use your names on there. Don't put Bob Idiot or something like that. You know, so they can see your real name there.
Not that I'm being.
So how's everything?
Alex can remember your name. Yeah. He just has to move the cursor.
So you like the discussion with Ronnie tonight, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's a weird situation for me. You know, she's so good to talk to. I'd love to somehow give her a show, but you know, she doesn't have the strength to do that. I think her whole outlook is it will help a lot of people. You know, and I told her she is helping a lot of people. Just by her attitude. But, you know, this is a journey that only has one end here. And there's no, this little drama has a finite ending. So we're going to have to see what happens, you know. But she's alive for now, and that's all that matters. But anyway, so let me see here. Oh, yes, Jeff. Turn on your.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Do you think it might work for her to have a 15-minute show?
Well, I don't know.
You know, a 20-minute.
I really don't know, to tell you the truth. I've thought about maybe just doing something with her. A show and put it just on separately once a week or something like that. But who knows? You know, time will tell. You know, so we'll have to figure that out. But you know, I just it affects me, you know, because to begin with, I've been having this feeling of mortality lately.
Yeah.
I'm sure Phil went through that when he had his prostate cancer. You know, you didn't.
Yeah, matter of fact, I was talking to someone else about that tonight. A friend who had a triple bypass, and you know, for the first time in her life and the first time in mine, you know, I saw that you know the end game was near.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Yeah.
Replace mortality with anxiety and desperation, and you have me nailed down to a T as well.
Yeah, yeah. I'm having a triple bypass, by the way, on my prostate. That's what's so unusual.
Yeah, well, you know, they're not going to do anything. At your age, they just leave it alone and let the.
I talked to my doctor yesterday because I wanted some reassurances, you know, and. I got some, you know, he just says, we just watch it. You know, he says, and if worse comes to worse, you get the hormones and that'll keep you alive for the next 15 years. So,
yeah.
Hey, look who's here, Rob Alfano, with his name under him. So I don't have to tell everybody who these people are all the time. You know something, what is it about Skype where it got worse and worse rather than better and better?
Yeah.
You know,
did you call those Obadiah guys to ask them if they knew anything about the Skype?
No. You know, I mean, I don't know that they would have the answer to it. And on top of that, I found the answer, obviously, you know. Yeah. And so I'm happy about it. So it's not a problem.
Yeah, I'm looking at your output on YouTube, and it's very sharp.
Yeah.
And looks fine.
Yeah, looks great. You know. Yes, Ray.
I have a friend who used to work at Microsoft.
Yeah.
And she said that they destroy everything, and it's because they have this monopoly on Windows. So when it just nobody talks to each other, departments don't talk to each other.
Yep.
They just do everything on their own. It's a complete cash cow situation where they have the monopoly, and then everything else just turns into junk.
Take away the Teddy Roosevelt era antitrust regulations, you get these big ass gangs that try to.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, the thing that I was looking to do was to find an alternative to Skype, and I've been looking for it for the longest time. Something that would be easy enough that all of you could download it and we could just go on and do what we're doing here, and it would serve the same function. Nobody makes it. You know, they all say, oh, well, we have ours, and some of them are just for the iPhones, you know, for mobile phones. Others, Google Hangouts is so complicated to just get people on. You know, I want a situation like this where Rob calls and I answer it and I go add to group and there he is. What's so difficult about that? In fact, I'm asking the new Skype people what's so difficult about that, because apparently you can't do it that way.
Have you checked out Zoom?
Yes, but they charge.
Oh, okay.
So all of you would have to pay money to call this show. And come on, this show may be fun for you, but it ain't worth money. You know? No. I mean, I like, you know, and I'd write Skype and tell them, look, you've ruined my business because you've changed the whole way you're doing things. And their attitude will be, well, we don't want you to make money out of it anyway. Well, I don't make money out of it, but I do this show, and it's an unusual show, and it's I think a new format for talk. I love the fact that the names are here. A new format for talk. And I just, you know, they just yanked the rug out from underneath me, especially last night. I mean, when I finally had to go over to the Mac, it looked shitty, and the Mac was very difficult because for some reason Skype lags on that. And it's, you know, it has all kinds of problems. And the reason it has all kinds of problems is who makes Skype? Microsoft. They don't want it to work well on a Mac. Okay?
I'm the only one here that's licensed to pull the rug out.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah. But I noticed Scott is in his new home because he has a new kind of perspective there. I see a iMac in back of you. Is that an iMac?
Yes, an ancient one.
An ancient one. How ancient?
I want to say 2007.
Really?
Apple II?
Yeah, I have a 2007 over there, and the hard drive went bad. So what I did is I put the boot drive on a little, external for 5 gigabyte external, and while it's not as fast booting up as it would be with a hard drive inside, it does it, and it works just fine, and I save the whole machine. Because the trouble with an iMac is if it goes, you've got a brick sitting there with a nice screen.
Hey, did you get your new computer yet?
No, that's next week. Comes Wednesday, I think. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it because it's I'm not going to use it as my main computer yet, but one day it's going to replace you. It's going to replace my Mac Pro eventually.
I'd use it as soon as possible.
Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to set it all up in another room and use it for a while. What I've done is since it doesn't have any hard drives in it, I've gotten externals and copied all the hard drives that I have in my current computer here onto those hard drives, so I can then use them on the new machine.
That Q Pro thing you have. You could use that as your hard drive.
Well, no, I don't want to use it because that works through the network, and it's a little slower.
Get one that isn't a NAS.
A little slower.
Yeah, you can get one that's not a NAS, and that Drobo I have has a SSD.
But I'm
turbo.
happy. I'm happy with the. I'm happy with. I'm using the backups for these drives that are in here in my other room, and they work very fast, and they're just fine. It's just fine the way it is. I'm an old man. I don't want to change my ways.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, so listen, I got news for you, Phil. We got out of Syria, and then all of a sudden, ISIS became bolder.
Mm. Well, we knew that was going to happen, but it looks
we
like
knew that was going to. We knew that was going to happen.
How did we know that?
How did we know that was going to happen?
When Penn said we defeated them.
Yeah, and I think Trump said we defeated ISIS too.
Well,
and as soon as they found out we were leaving, they bombed a bunch of soldiers today.
Well, maybe it's time that the Russians and the Iranians and the Syrians police their own.
Yeah, but the guys who got killed were ours.
For America.
Are you familiar with this story, Phil?
Well, no. But,
okay. Well, then shut up. Anyway,
Americans get killed all the time because we're in a war that isn't, or an action that isn't our action.
Whose action is it?
Well, it's theirs, but we certainly went after ISIS.
Oh, wait a minute. There are other countries in there. There are other countries in there. The Kurds, for instance, have a very large presence in Syria in that fight. The only problem with the Kurds is we're leaving them alone, and they don't have any planes or armaments.
No, we've done that to the Kurds each and every time. Didn't we do that to them in Iraq? During the
no. Oh no, yes, the Kurd. Well, Iraq hated the Kurds.
Right.
And the Kurds were pretty good fighters,
Mm-hmm.
and so Iraq didn't. I think Iraq didn't really go in there much. Where they wanted to take over was in Iran.
Well, we were supposed to help the Kurds at one point. I don't remember if it was under Bush 1 or 2, and we left them high and dry.
Well, maybe was it the Kurds or was it the Way?
It was not the Way. It was the Spider and the Kurds.
I thought it was the Kurds and Way.
Yeah, well, it could have been the itsy bitsy Spider.
And the whole war was just you know, started by Little Miss Muppet.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
okay, I pulled my bad joke for the day. Okay, folks, it's my only curd joke that I have. But no, I mean, it
was a turd.
How many soldiers? Any know the number of how many soldiers got killed today? It was in four. It was in a restaurant.
Wait a minute.
They said they're going to
4 Americans.
They're going to
4 Americans.
Yeah.
How many? Did anyone else get killed?
Yes.
Oh, so it was a big bombing.
Well, it was a very popular restaurant, and the soldiers like to go there. And somebody said after the fact that they're going to have to rethink soldiers going to the same restaurant all the time.
Well, they say that to cops too. That you shouldn't have too many cops in the same coffee shop or donut shop.
Well, if you followed that rule, then Dunkin' Donuts would be out of business now.
Yeah. And you know, there were bombings in restaurants and in Germany over the last several years. You know, where the terrorists went in. This happens. You know, they make bombs.
Phil, don't excuse this. You have a president who said we're getting out of Syria, and that emboldened ISIS to take an action against Americans.
So how do you know it was ISIS?
They said they took claim for it.
Oh, they take claim to everything.
Oh, Phil. Okay. Do you know that it's they said it was them, and I think ISIS is not a very what we would call admirable or honest group, but if they have any honesty, Phil, any honesty, it's got to be in saying we bombed that.
Not necessarily. You know, they'll take credit for anything. Who's going to say they didn't?
Phil, why don't you for once just say, well, you know, maybe we got out of there a little too early. You know, maybe we should have thought about a better way of getting out of there. But no, you've got to defend Trump on everything. If I said Trump fucked a 14-year-old girl and he's changing his name to R. Kelly, you would defend him and say he deserves to take any name he wants and fuck any girl he wants.
Well,
I know what you'd say. Here's your answer. He fucked a 14-year-old girl. Well, look, someday she was going to get fucked anyway.
Well, no, someday she'll be 18.
Oh, God. What are we going to do about you? I'm so happy. I've got a picture tonight, and it actually looks really good.
Well, if R. Kelly had done it in Hawaii, it would have been okay.
Huh?
If he had done it in Hawaii, it would have been okay.
Really?
Is the age of consent lower there?
Well, they just upped it like last year, but it was 14.
Yeah.
Up until I think a year ago.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
No.
And ISIS took credit for it, right?
That's right. That's correct, Phil. Oh, boy, Phil. I don't know what we're going to do about you. You know what I also like about this? If you look at the picture, it's different than the last one where all the pictures were right on top of each other. There's a bit of a border now between the top row and the bottom row, and I like that. It looks much better. Looks much better.
You know, and the names are there. They're easy to read.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anything I can do about those names? I can't change them or anything, but, you know.
How do I change it? How do I change my name?
Well, you you can do that.
I go SG. It'll be SG from now on.
SG, yeah, right.
I can't see it on the phone anymore, whereas with the new one I could, but that's okay.
Well, officially, she made it official on the Colbert Show last night. Kirsten Gillibrand is the latest person on, I guess, what we call American President Idol.
That's your girl, Alex.
Yeah, my girl, Kirsten Gillibrand.
Talk about joking on the set.
Yeah. She, I don't know, man. I'm glad, though, that on all the newscasts they bring up the Franken factor.
She's a chameleon. I have my issues with her as well.
Huh? Oh, well, she was...
She's a chameleon. I mean, what is she, hawkish, like Hillary Clinton, Diet Coke version of Hillary Clinton.
No, she was pro. She was
issue aside.
She was pro-gun when she was a congresswoman.
Yeah.
And then when she became a senator, she's anti-gun.
But she's been, to her credit, though, yeah, maybe due to cynical, shrewd reasons, she had, from what I understand, she has, in the last year or two, developed a progressive voting record.
Well, supposedly, what her argument on why, as a congresswoman, now see if any of you agree or disagree with this, as a congresswoman, she claims that she was representing a constituency, and that constituency was pro-gun, and so it was her job to voice their needs.
Bernie Sanders said the same thing.
Yeah, and when she became a senator, she said, "Now I'm a senator for all of New York State, and most of New York State is kind of anti-gun." So that's why I changed my opinion, because I have to represent my constituency.
Exactly.
Sounds good to me.
Yes, Jeff.
I heard her on TV today.
Yeah.
And her story was a little bit different. It was that, I got involved. I went to Brooklyn and I met a lady whose child was died by being shot.
Mm-hmm.
And that made her change her mind.
Oh, okay. If she says that's the reason, I don't know. That's
what she said.
I hear she stated that
tonight.
other reason, but again, somebody here said she's a chameleon, and I think it was Brian said she's a chameleon, and I don't like her. I mean, if Rob, how do you feel about Kirsten Gillibrand? Are you not?
Don't really have any feelings about her.
Yeah, she's the one.
I don't really have a one way or another.
She's the one that forced Al Franken out of the Senate.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you felt about that, but I was rather bothered by it.
I would say I was too, yes.
Yeah. And that she was doing it. She was doing it because she was planning on running for president. Yes, Jeff.
The other thing that she mentioned today was that she has had more things in the Senate that she has written against Trump in voting than any other senator.
Well, what do you write that's against Trump?
I don't know.
I mean, and I don't know if I would use that as a badge of honor. Did she get any of them passed?
Well, the idea was to.
Did it slow him down?
Passed, huh? So she was negative on these things.
Mm-hmm.
So she voted against anything that
she voted against them. Now that doesn't mean that.
See, I think there's something
Republicans got them won anyway.
Correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, but I think there is something inherently wrong in being against Trump for the sake of being against Trump.
That's what we have.
Yeah, no, but I just don't know. I just don't know if that's if that's a good policy to have. Anybody? What were you going to say, Rob?
I think the other is just as true. If you believe that being against Trump for the sake of being against Trump is true, then I think Phil suffers for the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Being for Trump for the sake of being for Trump. I mean, with everything collapsing around this guy, I mean, you see Rudy Giuliani says Trump didn't collude with Russia, but can't say if his campaign aides did.
So Rudy Giuliani says U.S.
eroding the story.
No, he's his personal attorney and on this deal, and he's throwing Manafort and Cohen under the bus. That's all,
But Phil, if this kind of evidence surrounded a Democrat, mm-hmm. you wouldn't hesitate to believe it.
Well,
in fact, you're believing all this stuff about Hillary that
That's
nothing
not even
has come
true.
out. Nobody around Hillary has gone to jail.
they will.
Trump's foundation. You talk about Hillary's the Clinton Foundation.
They
Trump's
closed it.
foundation has been shut down now.
Well,
He's
didn't
been
Hillary
banned along with all
close,
those other people from participating on the boards of any others. Illegal activity everywhere you turn. That's what I don't get.
He's a New Yorker. And you know what? He was a Democrat before he was a Republican.
1/10 of this information had come out about any Democrat, and you'd be ready to lock him up, lock her up, whatever.
Yeah, lock her up.
So I totally, I think it's more true with Trump supporters who just support for the sake of support because, God forbid, we were wrong.
Sounds like a what about argument.
That's not a what about argument.
I can see the bashing about the Clintons. Okay, there's a lot of, what could we call it?
There's a lot of bodies in the closet.
No, there's not a lot of bodies in the closet. There's a lot of just a lot of kind of stuff that makes you kind of question what went on. Wait a minute, let me finish. Let me finish. Well, none of those things were ever proven, Phil. So you can't even say
all
that.
those people, they put in all their cronies.
Well,
the Clintons.
Well, everybody puts their cronies in office. What do you think Trump has done?
The Republicans have investigated the Clintons. What, at least 9 or 10 times?
Left side, right side.
But I mean, we could say
everywhere.
that.
They've investigated her for a long time.
I had problems. I had a lot of
me.
problems. I had a lot of problems with Hillary. But what I don't get, and I was always very critical of Obama on my radio show on Sirius.
Yes, you were.
Which I think is one of the reasons why I'm not there any longer. It's because I think what's his name, the billionaire.
The one that's not going to be president now?
Soros.
Oh, Soros?
Yeah, Soros, one of his organizations was very pissed at me. And I think that Soros got me kicked out of Sirius. Okay?
But anyway. You said that Avi Ravenhoff guy had a hand in it.
Well, what do you think who Avi Ravenhoff worked for? He worked for George Soros. Yeah,
Media Matters.
Media Matters, which is lock, stock, and barrel is George Soros. Anyway, the point that I'm making is that I was always critical about Obama because I felt that I really wish he had run for vice president and been in there for a while and then became president. Then he would be ready. He would have all the tools in his hand. Instead, it was kind of earn while you learn. But in the end, I think he turned out to be an okay president. But I think he was a... Wait a minute, let me finish. He was a great guy. He was they were a terrific family. They were a great example to families all over America. And I liked them. They were nice people. And for him to go ahead and say the kind of things he says about Obama, I think is really bad taste.
Here you like the guy because he's a nice guy.
No, I like him. No, he did some good things too. I think that he had good intentions. I think part of his problem was, had he been vice president for 8 years, he would have had the chops to really be a very effective president. Instead, he was a very weak president at the beginning. Towards the end, he got very strong. He got very good at what he was doing, but it would have been nice if he had had that ability at the very beginning.
I don't agree.
Well, I know you wouldn't agree because you hate Obama.
Yeah, the guy gave $150 billion to terrorists. And
how do you give
$150
billion to terrorists? What terrorists?
On the Iran nuke deal.
No.
That was their money.
Didn't give them.
The Shah. No, it was the people's money. It wasn't the government of Iran. And
wait a minute. Hold on a second, Phil. Shut up. Who do you think when we give the money to the government of Iran, aren't we giving the money to the people of Iran? Or do we have to? Right. Scott is going. No. What you're saying is you got to go to each and every home and hand out $10 bills. Is that what you're saying?
Send them a check, but we gave them euros and cash, and
it was their money. It was their money.
Yeah, well, now
it was their money. It was in American banks and being held in American banks. Right. It did not come out of our treasury.
And it should have stayed in American banks until they got a government.
And pay interest on that money that we stole from them too, Alex.
They're a major supporter of terrorism.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let Scott talk for a second. Hey, come on. Quit flapping your chops. It's Scott's turn.
Yeah.
We actually had to pay them interest on the money that we'd stolen from them.
We didn't steal.
We did. We did steal it.
We stole maybe $50 million, but we had to pay them back. We did them good. We did them good.
Scott, you don't remember that we had 360 or 65 hostages in our own embassy? You don't remember
that's
those
a
things?
completely different. That's a completely different story, Phil. That's a completely different story.
They're our enemy. Why would you give that kind of money?
Vietnam is our enemy.
Because we took that money. We took that money from them. We held them in American banks, gaining interest and all of that. They sat in American banks. And finally, when we made a deal, the nuclear deal, part of the thing was return the money to us. It was not ours. It was theirs. It was theirs. It was not a payoff. It was their money.
I don't agree with you. When you look at Hamas.
Well, you cannot agree with me, but I'm telling Scott, am I speaking out of my ass, or am I right?
No, you're speaking out.
Wait a minute. Will you I asked Scott. Yes, Scott.
Yeah, you're totally right. It was their money. We owed it to them. I mean, that was 20 years ago. We fought in Vietnam 40 years ago. We're best friends with Vietnam now.
Yeah, but Vietnam is not a major
supporter. Look at Japan, what they did to us in Pearl Harbor. We should go bomb Japan right now, shouldn't we?
I got to say, Mr. Butter, for this
supporters of terrorism.
I like Scott Phil. I like Scott Phil because he's funny. He's funny.
Boy. God damn! I'm glad we see eye to eye on a lot of things, Scott and I.
Well,
Shit. Too. I've never seen you this worked up before in my.
Phil. Tonight I was saying to Marjorie, my wife, you may know her. I was saying to Marjorie that I can't believe Phil believes all the drivel that comes out of his mouth. Yeah. Because I know Phil, and he's not stupid, and I know Phil, he's a kind, decent man, okay? So I can't believe that he comes out with this drivel, which is nothing but pure evil.
I think what's pure evil is the Iranians, I can't believe that you would support a regime that supports terrorism the way the Iranians do.
Should I support?
Trump supports Russia.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Let's go back to who
That's another whataboutism.
Let's go back to who we originally supported, who was the Shah of Iran. Want to talk about that one? A dictator who we put in there?
Yeah, and he had the best pistachio nuts of any dictator. And you ever have Shah of Iran pistachio nuts?
No.
I have, and I still remember them.
Really? By the way, speaking of pistachio nuts, do you know what I've discovered? All these years I've been buying pistachio nuts, and who doesn't like, anybody here not like pistachio nuts?
Hello.
Right? And I've always been buying them in the shell, and you sit there for hours upon hours, and you eat them, and you maybe get a handful of them, and you get a whole bowl full of seeds when you're through, right? Shells when you're through.
Shells.
That's God's way of keeping you from gaining too much weight.
You can buy them salted and shelled. And you know something? They're really good.
It's dangerous.
Much better than the shelled ones.
No. You got to pay. You got to pay penance to eat something that's that fattening.
No, it's not that fattening. They're very low. They're very low in. They're very low in carbs, and they're considered very healthy nuts. All nuts are considered healthy.
Yeah, in moderation. But if you sit there and you eat a whole bag of the
I don't eat a whole bag. I get a little handful. 45 pistachio nuts has 5 carbohydrates in them. Yeah. And I will give myself a little handful and down them, but I don't have to shell them anymore. The only thing the shelling
them.
Well, I like shelling them. Yeah,
I like shelling them. It slows you down.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. You know, you got to get slowed down by certain things.
Well, there are those of us. Whoops. There are those of us who are lazy, and we like to,
support terrorist organizations.
Terrorist organizations, exactly.
I'd like to do that. On that we can agree.
Oh boy,
Plus, they're salted, right?
They're salted. Yeah.
That's bad for you.
Well, I mean, come on, Jeff, at our age, who gives a shit whether something's bad for us?
It can get you cancer.
I had an older friend 10 years ago. He was a smoker, gay himself. He was an older guy though. And
how old was he?
Like around your age, maybe a little older. And it was a platonic relationship. There was nothing else involved. But he was a big smoker, a chain smoker almost. And I said, those things are bad for you. I knew he was going to fire back at me, and he fired back like this. Well, so is sucking a dirty dick, but I'm not going to stop either. So.
I mean, if I had a terminal illness right now, like Ronnie has, for instance, I'd start doing everything I never was supposed to do. To begin with, I would eat everything, hot fudge sundaes, everything, because what I'm going to gain weight. Come on,
we're all terminal.
I'll have plenty of time to lose weight when I'm dead, And secondly, I think I'd maybe heroin. Never tried heroin. Try that. Hey, fentanyl. Fentanyl's available. Why not?
You can snort heroin.
I don't want to snort it. I want to shoot. I want to get the full pizzazz out of it.
Monty, huh?
And maybe somewhere along the line I'll overdose. So what? I was going to die anyway. But I don't. I'm not at that point yet. So
at least you control it.
At least you control it, exactly.
Alex, you should do the psychedelics, like LSD or mushrooms and stuff like that.
Yeah. We don't have a picture on it anymore, Ray. Is there a reason why we don't have a picture?
I know. Yeah, because I got off the machine and also my battery's only at 20%.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So we look at that picture of you, which is, I don't know how to describe the picture.
It's the lighting.
This is Ray Renati right here.
Eraserhead.
Do that
right
behind
there
or on top?
Huh?
Well, I was in the kitchen and there's a skylight and it just did it, Phil. So I just kept it like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a Eraserhead look.
Yeah, it is the Eraserhead look.
Yeah.
We supposedly have a real drug problem in this country now.
Trump lost a brother to a drug overdose, didn't he?
Huh?
Trump lost a brother to a drug overdose, did he not?
No, it's alcoholism.
It's alcoholism.
Oh, that's right, alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah. But I saw a thing tonight in which they were blaming who is it? Which company does OxyContin? It starts with a P.
Pfizer.
Pfizer.
I think it's Pfizer. And they were saying
they gave the world Viagra.
They said that Pfizer should, there should be laws against Pfizer and people should be able to sue them, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, because they're saying that there are certain documents in which the head of Pfizer wrote notes saying that, please don't tell doctors about the dangers of OxyContin, but only the positives. And I wonder about a company like that, are they really responsible for the epidemic? Or are they responsible just for the fact that they invented it and they sell it? And that they make it and people procure it? And then
everybody's a victim. Everybody's a victim.
Well, no. I question what is the drug company's responsibility. Okay, let me give you an example. I have a wife. She has a bad back. She has a lot of other conditions that require her to take, in her case, it's Dilaudid, which is right up there with OxyContin. But she is monitored by a doctor. She does not overdo it. She tries to underdo it. She's very good about using it. But it has been a lifesaver for her. This woman would be in dire fucking pain 24/7 if it weren't for the drugs that they give her. So I don't see any stories about Pfizer and how they've relieved the pain of millions. All right? Now, I'm not standing up for them. I think they should control where this drug goes. Apparently, it's getting out into the population rather promiscuously. But my question still is, there's a good here that's been done by these drugs, and what's happening is with this railing against the drug problem in the country, which should be dealt with by the public as a medical problem, what's it going to do to all the people who genuinely need it? You know, I mean.
Hey, Alex, I think it's mostly the generics that get out. The generic, all the generic companies.
Well,
get out on the street.
I don't think, for instance, OxyContin is a generic.
They don't have a generic?
I don't think there's a generic.
Okay.
I think it's Dilaudid. I don't think there's a generic. If there was a generic to Dilaudid, I'm sure my wife would be taking the generic.
There's what they do is they combine it with other things and they call it Norco and Vicodin and so forth, according to this article. Most of the things is that it's addicting, and also that it's can cause upset stomach, vomiting, things like that, and breathing problems, a pressure in your brain, curving of the spine. Let's see what else. It says it can cause death, particularly to children and teenagers.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is these are extreme circumstances. For instance, my wife has a doctor who is her pain doctor, okay?
Right.
And he prescribes a certain amount every month. He says, don't do more than this a day. If she does more than that a day, she's going to run out of it by the end of the month. And she's very good at handling it, you know? But she's being watched very closely and monitored. And doctors are not being as promiscuous as you think because, for instance, I get Xanax, and the doctor now will only give me a certain amount every year. He says, I don't want any whistles to go up, any red flags to go up.
The serious side effects, chest pain, irregular heartbeat, hives, rash, itching, swelling of the face and tongue.
What is this for?
OxyContin.
Okay, well, but what are the good parts of this? What are the benefits?
I just looked up side effects.
What are the benefits? Side effects, look, we understand these things can kill you if they're used promiscuously. In fact, you ready for this? She takes Dilaudid. She's very good about it. She doesn't go crazy. We just got our second bottle of, what is it, Narcan or whatever that thing is?
Narco?
The thing that you take that if she suddenly has an overdose, I can just shove it in her nose and it'll save her life. Yeah. It'll save her life. But we have 2 bottles of that in the house now. Of course, we don't need them, but and by the way, if I ever have that terminal disease and I take an overdose so I can kill myself, please don't give me that shit, okay? But this is what they do in New York now. You get a free bottle. It's like with every 5 bottles of Dilaudid, you get a free bottle of this stuff. Hey,
what color is the OxyContin that Marjorie's taking?
She's not taking OxyContin. I just said that.
Okay. Oh, because
she's taking
there's different dosages depending on the color.
She's taking Dilaudid. Yeah, it goes up to like 50 or something.
80. 80. The green is 80.
Yeah. How do I know this? Because I saw it on TV.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, how much responsibility do we put on the manufacturer, and how much responsibility do we put on the public sector to somehow do something about this?
It's what the Americans do. We blame gun manufacturers for gun deaths.
Yeah.
Why not blame? If this is the way people are, because we're all victims. We don't take responsibility for our actions, so therefore we blame someone else. Whether it's gun manufacturers or drug manufacturers.
Well, Charlie, you've had a lot of pain in your time, haven't you? What with the foot thing and everything? Did they give you pain medication?
Yeah, off and on over the years. Yeah, I've been on what the heck is it? Hydrocodone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that Vicodin?
I think it is Vicodin. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is hydrocodone. It's one of the names for hydrocodone.
Yeah, I've ruptured discs 3 times, and that's when I usually get on it.
Yeah.
I never had to take it for my toes.
Really? What did you have to take it for?
For ruptured discs in my back.
Oh, wow. Son of a bitch. Yeah.
Hey, Alex, can I say one thing?
Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
Well, okay, Ray and then Jeff.
Yeah,
okay.
I just want to say that, Xanax, benzodiazepine, that's a hidden problem that the news doesn't talk about that's just as big an issue as the opiates. In fact, if you don't, when you're working off of a benzodiazepine, if you go too fast, it can actually kill you. And I'm dependent on Klonopin, and I have been for 20 years because I started taking it for sleep, and they told me to keep taking it, and I've been trying to get off of it for a year now, and I can only go off like 10% of time. It's a huge issue.
Yeah,
and you never hear about it.
There it is. There's my Xanax right there.
My friend gave me 2 Klonopin when I was going to Australia, and it was fabulous, and there was no after effect. There was no hangover or anything. And on the way back, I didn't have any. And somebody on the plane gave me not a Valium, an Ambien or something, and that had felt like it was I had a hangover.
Really?
Afterwards.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. That's why they thought the benzodiazepines were so great. But then now they found out a few years ago that it causes dementia and all kinds of memory problems and a whole bunch of other things. And so they have to get everybody off of these drugs, and it's extremely difficult to get off of them.
Oh, I take like what's that?
Sorry,
2 milligram pill of Vicodin, of Xanax, and then I use like a quarter of it to put me to sleep occasionally. I took one last night, first time in 4 or 5 weeks or something like that.
See, that's how it's supposed to be used, occasionally.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be.
But I've never found that I got addicted to it or had a problem with addiction.
No, you won't. It takes like 2 weeks to get dependent on it.
Plus, my doctor said, oh, you can use it at night to go to sleep. And the reason they say that is, I'm 30, I'm 30, I'm 89, 80, 70, how old am I? 79 years old, and they go, go ahead. So what if you're addicted to it? You're 79, have some fun. You know?
No, they gave it to me when I was 37 for that. So.
Really? Yeah, well...
and he told me to take it every night, and I did for 20 years. And now it's taken me over a year, and I'm only halfway off.
Really? So that's what's wrong with you, Ray.
I think doctors like to hand out pills as rather than go and fix the root problem.
Okay, well, Jeff had his hand up there. Yes, Jeff.
No, I disagree with you, Phil, as usual. But I know I take a lot of drugs. I probably take 10 different pills every day. Wow. And it's a pain in the ass, and I'm always trying to minimize it.
I'm going to count how many pills I take every day.
Yeah, what are some of the pills you take, Jeff?
Oh, jeez. I gotta find my list.
That's how I am. I have to have a list.
I have them on my cell phone.
Yeah.
Hey, Pam, why don't you come and do us the list? You know it.
Yeah, we're going to start listing. Now, are you taking any pills, Rob?
Nope.
Nope? No medicine at all?
No. Well, I just take Synthroid, which is not a medicine.
Thyroid.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a medicine, but you know.
No, it's not. It's an actual hormone. It's not a medicine per se.
Yeah.
It's not a chemical. It is a chemical, but it's a natural. It's not a man-made. Like I was taking those stupid pills for a while.
Yeah, I take Synthroid. I also take Crestor and a couple other things. I can't remember.
I just counted the quantity of pills. I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
But these are non-vitamin stuff, because I take the vitamins and stuff too.
Yeah.
But 19 pills a day for meds.
Really?
19.
19?
Yeah. Some of them are small, some of them are big.
And what are they for? Well, I guess you do have a pantheon of problems.
Well, the heart, and they give you this thing called Migladol for a year, and you got to take a couple of those. I got to take an aspirin.
How much do all those pills cost you a month? With your insurance?
With the insurance, I don't know, probably $200.
Is that all?
Yeah, well, Kaiser. Yeah.
Oh, Kaiser. Okay, it's 19. Yeah.
Like $10 a prescription.
Yeah, no, in Kaiser, one of those pills is cyanide. Jeff. Jeff?
Well, okay.
Okay.
So, baby aspirin is the first one.
Okay, I take that.
Me too.
A lot of people take that. Oxycodone. Cortisone.
Yeah.
Oxycodone.
Gesundheit.
If it has more than 12.
Yeah, just hold it up. Hold it up to your TV.
Oh, okay. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Here we go.
You guys see this?
It's too white.
Let me see if I can. We can't. I don't think we can get it to.
Can't see
now,
what happens if I do?
Let's see. Next one.
Okay.
Simvastatic.
Simvastatin.
Simvastatin.
Okay, so that's a statin. It's a cholesterol drug. Yeah. What else do you have?
Let's see. Furosemide.
Yeah, furosemide.
Furosemide. Never heard of that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Cialis. Everybody takes that.
Yeah. I take it oddly enough for the prostate. Yeah. But the side effect, of course, is a boner, which is fine with me.
That's right. Centraline.
Do you know something?
Centraline.
Get to one you can pronounce.
It's like, it just goes on and on and on.
Central Line, where you get that at Grand Central Station?
Yeah.
There's one that you can understand.
You lost me at aspirin.
Tylenol. As needed.
As needed. Oh, that's a new drug. As needed.
That's right.
Yeah.
Here's another one. Letroprolo.
Oh, that's for the heart. I take that.
Yeah, Metoprolol.
Okay.
You're having trouble.
Media.
What?
That must be just size. Let's see.
So what do you do when you go to the doctor's office? You just hand them the list and say, "Here." Right?
Well,
They know it.
first of all, they already have the list there. And yes, I bring it to them to show.
But
it
I
to
love
them.
the ads on TV for these things. To begin with, they're always on the newscast at 6:30. Most of these ads on those shows, so you know who the listeners are. There are no kids watching those news shows, and they all come on with about a 15-second pitch. And the rest of the 45 seconds of that commercial are all the contradictions of the drug. And while they are listing the contradictions, I love to watch the visuals they're showing. It's Grandpa throwing a baseball, and then he's walking down the park feeding the pigeons. And
he's happy.
He's happy, and they're saying in the background, may cause death, may cause irritable bowel syndrome, painful rectal itch. You know, they list a whole pantheon of this crap.
Yeah. That's the drug manufacturer.
I resent those commercials because I hate fucking gardening. And every one of these old people are gardening. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the thing that you know the thing that also bothers me about them, and this is the God's honest truth. It's that one of these ads, for instance, said, if you have cancer, this can help you live longer, prolong your life. And then there's a thing at the bottom of the screen, okay, that says average length of whatever is 3 months. And then I looked up the cost of the drug, and it was $10,000 a month. So you're going to spend $30,000, and you're going to be dead anyway.
I'm going to party with that.
It's better than giving it to the kids.
Yeah. Sorry, kids. I spent all your money on this drug that said I'd be here for 3 extra months with you. You know.
You know why men die before their wives, right?
What?
You know why men die before their wives?
Because they want to.
Because they want to.
Because they want to.
That's right.
We have incentive.
Yeah.
You know. Oh, excuse me, though, Scott. Me too. They would not like that joke. Hey, listen, I want to ask you, I want a little opinion from you folks out there who are part of our citizen panel tonight. I've got a list here. This is my list. Okay. Anybody here belong to LinkedIn?
I do, but I don't remember the password.
Yeah, well,
yes.
I belong to LinkedIn. Now, I have no idea what LinkedIn is exactly or why I should be a member of LinkedIn, but every now and then they send me a list of jobs they think I might qualify for. Now, they don't say this guy is 79 years old and nobody will hire him, okay?
Did you get greeter at Walmart?
No, I was thinking actually of applying for these jobs and seeing what response I got and not lying to them about my age. I'm 79 years old and I want the job at the Confidential organization in New York for film editor. Now, by the way, I can edit. I'm very good at editing. I know all the programs for editing. It says I have to know Adobe Premiere, which is not the best editing program, by the way. Final Cut Pro is, but I know both of them. I know how to use both of them. Also, it says I should know how to use After Effects. Well, I know how to use After Effects. I would be perfect for this job under any circumstances. And they say I need 5 years experience in each of these things, and I've got maybe 20 years of experience in each of those, right?
Apply!
Yeah, apply.
Are any of these things gig-based?
The what?
Are any of these things, these venues, these jobs gig-based?
What do you mean gig-based?
Just for the job.
Yeah.
It's like contracting.
They don't give I don't think they would give a shit if you're 79, 29, or 109. You know, they'll use you for like a few months at most, and then sayonara.
I think to be honest with you, they would see 79 and go, oh well, not him. Okay.
I don't think you have to give them your age.
Okay, here's one for you at Stitcher. Okay. Out of New York, executive producer for podcasts.
Perfect.
You know, in my resume, I would probably write, I invented the fucking podcast. Now, wouldn't that qualify me for a job as an executive producer? Right?
Yes.
Where did my ball go? No,
He just dropped his ball.
My golf ball. Well, it went somewhere. Oh, there it is. I'll go get it later. Yeah, it says here, executive producer podcast for Stitcher. I would be perfect for that, right? You know?
Yeah, you can also tell them about your radio show on CNET, and that you did.
Well, it said that I must know about what is it? Entertainment and interviewing. I mean, it's all the things.
Have you ever interviewed anybody, Alex?
Yes, I have.
Give the list of people you've interviewed.
Huh?
Give them the list of people you interviewed.
Exactly. Well, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
It's a very positive thing if you want to work, actually.
Let me go.
Send them the Christie Canyon interview.
Where? Let me see here. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Where is it? Oh, there's LinkedIn. Here we go. Under the, let's see here. Under executive producer for podcasts. I have to wait for it to come up here. It says, executive producer, podcast leads diverse interdisciplinary team's mission to identify, create, and launch the next generation of exciting new shows. All right? I
thought executive producer goes for the coffee.
I would oversee a stable of existing Stitcher shows, providing support and guidance on everything from day-to-day production to budget management to contract negotiations to audience growth. Do I know about any of that? Apparently, I know nothing about audience growth.
Audience growth, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, that has eluded me completely, but fuck it. Anyway, let me see.
That would be the sticking point.
Staff reporter and journalist for Horizon Media. I got to get my golf ball. Excuse me, folks. Hold on.
Don't get stuck.
Now, people say, what do you use the golf ball for? Well, it's made my feet feel better. Believe it or not. I sit here rolling my foot on the golf ball all night. Let's see here. Associate Creative Director, copy. Let's see if there's anything else here. Oh, Senior Journalist for BBC Music. I don't know that much about music anymore. And Vice President of Events for a Human Rights Foundation. I wonder what you would do. Bookings coordinator? Well, I think the video editor thing and executive producer of podcasts are two things I should apply for. So maybe I'll apply for them and see if I even get a reply from them.
See if you get an interview.
Right.
Huh?
See if you get an interview.
And in the podcast one, Stitcher, I'm going to say, I invented the podcast.
Prove it.
That'll make you sound old, though.
You know something?
That's what he's trying to do.
I can prove it. I actually have the program we used here.
That's what the interviewer would say to you. How do you prove it?
Well, I got that. I wrote a note to. There's this thing called Podcast Business Journal that they just started. Oh. And one guy said it did the history of the podcast. I wrote him, I said, you're full of bullshit. I invented the podcast, and I told him when and how. And he said, oh, I thought I was first. And I never heard from him again. It's like they didn't call me and say, hey, well, let's interview you about how this whole thing started and whatever, because we're the podcast.
Like Marconi versus Farnsworth.
No, they don't want to have anything to do with me, because I would then ruin their whole notion that the podcast was started something like 3 years later than when I did it. And yes, it was 3 years later than when I did it, but I did it, and I've got the program to prove it with a date stamp on the program. So, in case people are wondering what I'm saying, I did a thing where I was off the air, and so I decided to do a daily show on the internet. This was like in 1997 or something like that. When was I? In 1998.
Was that the monkey thing?
No, this was before that. Wait a minute. I used to
download those.
I just added him to the group. I'm having trouble getting Bree on here. Wait a minute. There we go. There we go.
Do you have any of those podcasts still, Alex?
Do I have them? No, I don't, actually. I never thought about saving them. And Bree's whirling around there. But there he is. There he is, folks. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're one short of a full house on this this new thing we've been doing here, which is pretty cool. However, I'm going to have to take that Gabnet logo off of there because it's taking up too much room.
Now, is Bree on camera?
Oh, I know why the problem. That's the problem. Okay, now I can do it again.
Is Bree got his camera? Yeah, I guess he does.
Yeah.
Because our theory was that more than 8, you weren't going to get video, but it looks like if Bree is on camera,
I see him.
This is 9, so it's working.
Yeah. So anyway, I can now put that on there, and there we go. Okay. Yeah. No, we have. Let's see here. We have 9, and I think it was 10 we were worried about. Or was it 9 that we were worried about?
I think 8.
8.
It was. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's working fine. So this solved the whole problem. Plus, we have the names of all the people under them, and it's very good. I'm happy because it looks good and it feels good. What is that, Bree?
That's the new viral sensation.
The viral.
Can you see the animal?
No.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah.
Well, wait a minute.
It's like a shadow.
Wait a minute.
You remember the dress, whether it was gold or blue? This is going to be the next one. You'll read about it tomorrow.
Wait a minute. There's an animal in there. Hold that up again.
Remember, we are sort of a day ahead of you. Here, it is Thursday morning, right?
Yeah.
So I'll tell you the lottery numbers later if you want.
Very good. I thought the viral sensation was this brown egg.
Now, what are we supposed to? What are we supposed to see in there? All I see are stripes.
Yeah.
No, you can't see the. It's like a cat.
There's an egg in the middle.
I see it.
Outline of some sort of animal.
Looks like a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think part of the problem is it's mooring a little bit.
I see the ears.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me make this big. Look at that, folks. Let's do it that way. Let's see here. I can't see it. I see a little dip in some stuff there, but I don't see it.
Yeah, that's the ears. The top of the head between the ears.
Yeah.
There's all those little tests that they have on the internet. Like, can you see the one letter that's different than all the other letters?
Yeah.
The number, find the word. And, I find those things like immediately. I think that they're all bullshit, that, that everybody...
They're mining your data.
Yeah?
Yeah. All that stuff is just mining your data. There's a new thing on Facebook, like some kind of 10-year challenge.
Yeah.
That's mining your... That's mining your data.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay. So what are they
just
mining?
New ways to get your data.
So when you're looking at that particular challenge, it's taking your data from your phone.
Yeah, it's getting all the information.
Also, the things and seeing the little number or letter.
The idea is that you're helping them develop their facial recognition and they can check aging over a 10-year period.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they don't have to go fishing for the photos because you do it for them.
Yeah. So, how's the weather over there in Dubai?
Oh, it's excellent weather. Just perfect every day. It's just wonderful.
I mean,
no humidity.
No humidity?
No.
Come
no
on.
Humidity.
You're kidding.
We have our low today will be 66 and our high is 83, and so it's like that every day. It's just perfect weather.
Oh,
nice
we just lost Ray.
Oh yeah. In the Bay Area, it's storming. It's really heavy winds and. It's like a monsoon, and here I am in D.C. and they had an earthquake the other day, about 180 miles off of the coast of Maryland, and this is not earthquake country, but I guess it's becoming.
Yes, it is. What do you think happened at the Washington Monument when they went?
Isn't that a rare occurrence?
Aren't they doing fracking every year?
No, as a matter of fact.
Anywhere you do fracking, you're going to have earthquakes.
130 or 180 miles out into the ocean?
Yeah, sure. I mean, do you know there is a fault going through Central Park here in New York City?
Yes.
And occasionally it's been known to
is that
kind
Trump's
of rumble.
fault? Everything else is.
Well, there was that earthquake out in Ocean City or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy. There goes my golf ball again. I can't seem to.
I didn't want originally. I was going to get together with Rob, and I thought that it was going to snow and that there was going to be a blizzard here, and I didn't want you to drive in the blizzard conditions. And I get here, and the weather's nice, and there's some snow on the ground. But and then I guess this weekend it's coming.
Yeah, I was thinking about going to New York this weekend to see my mom, but they're all the way up and down the East Coast. I think is going to be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's supposed to be a big snow this weekend, I think.
Yeah. Yep. Starting Saturday into Sunday.
Yeah.
Why does Netflix have to raise their prices?
Yes. Oh, that's the news.
$14 or something.
The thing about it is, I like Netflix. I like that they have too much. They debut everything all the time. I can't keep up with it. There's no way. They need to slow down.
You're quite right.
Not raise the rates.
You know what? In case people are not aware, like for instance, I pay $14 a month to get their high def channels, their 4K channels. No, they're not doubling it.
I thought I'm paying $7.99.
My 14 is going to go up to 16. And I pay $12 for Hulu, but I pay $12 for Hulu without commercials.
I thought they said Netflix was going to $14.
They're going to $14 for the lower tier. If you have the service where you get 4K like I do, and I think you can run it on something like 4 machines at the same time, it's going to be $16.
Well, I'm paying $8 or 7 something. And so mine's supposed to go to 14, right?
No. The $8 one is going to $9.
Oh,
yeah. But the as I say,
this is Trump's fault.
I have the 14. Yeah. I have the $14 one, and it's going up to 16.
It's all Trump's fault.
Well, I'll tell you something. It was a bargain at when it first started. What did we pay? $7.50, maybe less.
Yeah, $7.90, $7.95.
Something like that, and it was kind of worth it then, but I'm beginning to wonder if it, at $15, $16 a month, if it's worth it. Yeah, I'm getting tons of Netflix originals. They're putting the name Netflix originals on everything.
You remember when you had to mail the DVDs back and forth?
Oh, I still do that.
Really?
They still offer that service. They still offer that service because they tried to quit it. They tried to stop it, and people complained.
But they also don't. Netflix doesn't have a lot of movies on the streaming. Yeah. It's more about series and television. The movies,
you got to get the discs.
You got to get the discs. They couldn't get the streaming rights, I don't think.
Yeah. But the fact of the matter is that they're they say Netflix originals on everything. It's like in other countries where they have Netflix and they do like French series and French stuff, they do Netflix originals. Do you know? You know the show Star Trek Discovery, which is on CBS All Access, which by the way starts again tomorrow night.
No, not here. Here it is a Netflix original.
I was about ready to say that. Everywhere else, it's a Netflix original. You know the show Riverdale here, which is on the CW. Everywhere else in the world, it's a Netflix original. But it's not a Netflix original. It's produced by CBS and I think CW is Warner Brothers and CBS.
Great. So how do you get the Netflix original from France? You use your VPN, or is there a different...
I could, I suppose, but I don't. Why should I? I get all these shows anyway, so But I mean, what I'm saying is they call things Netflix originals that they never had anything to do with. They probably just paid some money for them, and so they could put their name on it.
Trump's
and that's the other thing. What they've done is they are, cornering the market, so to speak. They're getting the rights to things because they realize that, all the companies could just come out and just have their own platforms, and then why do you need Netflix?
Well, that's starting to happen Disney, because they're losing Disney stuff. They're losing all Disney stuff, like all the Marvel stuff, because Disney is starting their own channel.
Right.
Now, DC already has their own channel, which, by the way, is very good. But still, by the time you're through, you're going to wind up paying more money for these things individually than you ever were going to pay for them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. All you guys were so worried about net neutrality and that guy Pai, Anjit Pai. Has it affected anything yet?
Well, to begin with, net neutrality has been the rescinding of net neutrality.
Act of 1996, 97.
No, but I think wait a minute. I believe. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I believe the rescinding of what do you call it? Net neutrality was shot down by a court.
Yeah, it's tied up in courts.
So I mean, we haven't been able to find out what the result of that is going to be, but I hope and pray that it wins. And that we don't have to put up with that. We still can have net neutrality. I mean, why are we giving away the store to all these companies? Well, I guess because Trump is president and he wants to give away everything to the corporations.
Yeah.
It's like in the last 40 years, why have we given away the store to all these other countries as well?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Trump says.
Well, rhetoric-wise, he and I are in agreement.
Yes.
Rhetoric-wise.
But not in actuality, Phil, because he's giving away the store.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at what he's done to our natural resources. He's giving away the store. But I don't want to get into that now. We got 20 seconds before I roll the theme.
Well, the dice.
Yeah. The only thing that this Skype doesn't have, and none of them have ever had, is the ability to turn off one feed sound-wise. Then I could shut Phil up whenever I wanted to.
I told you. Remember when I muted Jeff by accident? But I was testing that out?
Yeah.
You can't. You can mute people in the new Skype.
Yeah. Anyway, hey, listen, there's the theme. I got to tell you, the picture has looked terrific. In fact, I like this configuration better than the one that I had. So it only proves to me that Skype has gotten worse and worse and worse and worse.
It'll be Phil free tomorrow, unless I can get an internet connection on the plane.
Yeah, in which case we can see you from the plane, which would be a lot of fun. That would be a lot of fun.
I don't know if I talk, because if I talk, I might disturb the other people.
Hey, that's going to piss a lot of people off.
You can use the chat.
Okay, well, let's thank everybody. Let's thank Phil Stein, Jeff Stein. Let's thank Phil Meyer. Let's thank Scott Boddicker. Let's thank Rob Alfano. Let's thank Ray Wallace and Charles Renati. And Brian Bree and D. Ludwig, whatever. Hey, everybody, why don't you do me a favor and wave a big goodbye to all the folks out there watching us, okay? That's them saying goodbye. See you later, guys. And that's it for tonight. Wow. Well, it works, folks. We're not out of business. How about that, okay? How does that make you feel? Okay? Oh, wow. That was terrific. I'm so happy after what happened last night, after that clusterfuck. I wanted to kill myself at the end of the show last night going, that's it for the citizen panels, but we found a way around it. Fuck Skype. Anyway, I'm Alex Bennett. That's it for tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow night. We'll be here right after, well, The Intersection is next with Jack Bishop. We'll be here after Damian Chaplin goes on at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then I'll be on at 10 o'clock. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. Bye!